Good morning, or afternoon, or evening, dear comrades and patriots. Welcome, welcome back to another summit. And last time has been way too long ago. Let's keep
2 months about, yeah.
2 months about. One thing that's different, we don't have any drinks because it's pretty early, although it's 5 o'clock somewhere else in the world.
Yeah, it's 2 in the afternoon. I think we could wait a little bit.
Yeah, we can wait a little bit. So maybe something for next time. Send us a suggestion in the comments what type of drink we should make, maybe.
When should next time be?
When? Actually, next week, Sunday at 2 o'clock, we're gonna try to have a live summit on the YouTube channel. So save the date, save the time, tune in, ask us all the live questions, and we hope we're gonna...
Yeah, so 2 o'clock our time on Sunday.
So it's +1 GMT time. And you can, if you don't know what time it is in the States, use time in Germany now in your region and on Google, and that should cover it.
That should help you out.
Yes. We have a wide range of topics for today regarding the start of the season and a lot more. But first of all, a reminder that you can either listen to this podcast on Spotify or direct download if you find the link in the video description, or if you are already listening, you can alternatively watch the video and interact with us through the comments. So the topics of today, starting with something we should have done back in November, actually, because back in, I don't know, somewhere midsummer, mid-season, we announced that we're gonna have a giveaway that whoever gonna guess the closest amount of mileage, the end mileage of the 720S Taxi, would win a 600 LT lap. Now, the season ended on my birthday, the 11th of November, and now we are almost in February and we still haven't announced anyone, and we are deeply sorry for it.
Luckily, nobody missed their lap because nothing's happened since then, so we kind of took it easy, took a little break. And let's see who it was.
Absolutely. So the 720S, the end mileage, the winning guess was by, that's how he goes on YouTube, so maybe his actual name might differ, Christian Licke. And he said it was going to have 23,720, I like the number, kilometers, but the actual number was 23,706. So it was only 14 kilometers off.
That's pretty good. Yeah, so and we didn't luck out, but he lucked out because you'll remember that the 720 was out of commission for a little while. True. And it lost a lot of laps where the M4 stepped in. And so the M4 went in replacement of it, and it would have been much higher, but it was the 720 missed, what, three and a half weeks, I think.
I think it was actually even less than 3 weeks. It was around 2, but still.
It was still during a busy season, so the 720 lost some kilometers. So yeah, that worked out to his favor, maybe not in our favor, but at the end of the day, it all works out. So. And it's pretty neat to think about that. We bought that car in March, brand new.
Yeah.
Okay, so I think I picked the car up somewhere around, it wasn't there for the first couple weekends of TF.
No, true.
I think I picked it up the second to last week in March, somewhere around 20 March I picked it up. And by 11 November, we had 23,000 kilometers. And that car doesn't drive anywhere else.
Yeah.
That car drives from our barn to the track, around the track, and it only comes back to Apex for fuel, which is 800 meters. So that 23,000 kilometers is what we did on the Nordschleife with it. You could maybe take away 2,000,
before braking
maybe
period.
2,500 kilometers for miscellaneous back and forth to Apex, break-in time. When I first picked it up, I think I brought it to Apex with maybe around 700 or 800 kilometers on it. That was me trying to break the motor in on the Autobahn and driving it daily for a week. Other than that, all Nordschleife. So to take a McLaren 720S and run it only on the Nordschleife for not even 8 months, you know, not even a full 8 months, 7.5 months, and put 23,000 kilometers on is pretty cool.
Yeah, so 1,000 laps actually, more or less.
Yeah.
Now you've taken the car out of Apex's possession, so to say. You made it your private car.
Yeah, it was a tough decision. It was we had talked about wanting to put it out as a rental car, and you know, the idea behind Apex is to share cool cars with people, to have fun. Obviously, for us to enjoy it, it needs to be an enjoyable process, and it is a business at the end of the day. And when you look at the 720S and you look at the cost of the 720 for purchase, for even repairs, rental, insurance, etc., we would have to, I think, to have made it worth it, we would need to sell somewhere around 120 laps to make it worth it for us at about, what, 500 a lap, I think we said.
Yeah.
Well, that's doable, but that's almost a break even for us. If you look at depreciation of the car over the year, if you look at the insurance costs, you look at the maintenance costs, etc., 500 laps at, or I'm sorry, 120 or 130 laps at 500 a lap would have been break even for us. That means that we have 50 or 60,000 in revenue that would have had to been diverted income that people would have to have spent on the 720.
Yeah.
And the question is that 60,000 taking away from the M2? Is it taking away from the M4? Or is it new people that say, oh, I want this experience, right? Mm-hmm. What happens when somebody crashes the car? You see?
Yeah.
Obviously, for us, the car is insured and we can take care of it, but there's an excess on the car. The people who might want to come and drive this car as a dream, they're going to be overwhelmed when they see what maybe the damage that they caused would be. And so it's going to then potentially put a burden on our clientele, while also potentially taking away from Apex's bottom line.
Yep.
So even though I haven't sold the car, in business you have different areas where you can put assets and costs. And now I've taken the 720 out of the Apex, essentially books, and now I'm using it as a daily driver. It's sitting outside. We put winter tires on it yesterday. So it's actually going to be a car that I'll use as my main daily driver. So it still will be used for business. It just won't be in the Apex fleet as a rental car or a taxi.
Yeah.
Okay. And so, yeah, it was a lot of thought process. I really wanted to share it with people in that way, but at the end of the day, the risk wasn't worth the reward. We never really would have made profit on it. Mm-hmm. And it actually could have hurt the business because we might have broke even with it, but it could have taken potentially 60,000 euro in other revenue that could go towards cars like now the Porsche 718 or the M4, etc. So it just makes a better business case for me to use it as a business vehicle, but for driving to the office or driving here to Apex, etc.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we've taken off the stickers. It looks very weird.
It's weird. You know what's funny is when we first got it, I was like, oh, this thing's so beautiful. I hate to put stickers on it. You put stickers on it and you're like, oh my gosh, it looks so cool with stickers on it. And then now you take them off and you're right back to where you were. Yeah. But it's slowly growing back on me every day. And it's just, it's an amazing car. Mm-hmm. You know, the really neat thing is that after 23,000 kilometers of track use, I can use it as a daily driver and it's just as reliable. You know, It's just every day it just goes. It's no problems. Everything feels as tight as the day it was new. So, I mean, that says a lot, you know, about the car as a whole, mm-hmm. that I'm able to do that now. And who knows? We'll see how long I run it like this. But I'd say I expect probably 2 years. Maybe I'll hit the 100,000 kilometer mark on it. You never know.
Ooh, nice. What's your first impression? Because 720S we rent as a taxi, but it's actually more of a GT car, unlike the LT. Car, so is this actually?
It is. It's quite comfortable. I mean, when we spec'd it, we actually took the standard seats because I wanted to have that versatility because we had the 675 bucket seats available, and we put the carbon bucket seats in it. So I'm actually running on more of a GT seat, so it's actually quite comfortable. Everything functions really well in it. I don't really use navigation much in my day-to-day, but the screen is nice. You know, when it does pull up a map, it's very intuitive. It's very up to date. Mm-hmm. The sound system, the connectivity of the Bluetooth, everything works. The one thing I would complain about, and that this is just the nature of the beast, is that if you're on the Autobahn doing 120, you're not talking on the phone. You know, you have it cranked you have the volume cranked all the way up and you're still like, what? You know, so that is the only downside to them. But I don't think that you buy a car like that and you really expect that you're going to, it's not like it's the same money you buy a Bentley maybe. Yeah. And then you expect to be able to talk on the phone. Yeah. But so as a whole, it's actually quite comfortable, quite simple with the new carbon tub. How it goes down on the angle, you can get in and out really easily. And the way that the doors open, you have that whole thing. It's never difficult to get out. Sure, it's low to the ground, so I'm not extremely tall, but with my height, it still is like, okay, you're climbing out a little bit, but that's okay.
Mm-hmm. Okay, moving on to our following taxi car, which will replace the 720S, the 600 LT. There are a lot and lots of obvious, pretty much, questions regarding that car, how we think that's going to compare. Yeah. Is it going to be a good choice because it has less horsepower, but at the same time more aero, less weight, it performs better than 720S. What's your comment on that?
I'm very excited for it. When the 600 LT was first announced, I knew, or, you know, if you remember, we had the 570 and there were some things we didn't like on the track about it. High speed instability, and that came down to just suspension geometry and aero for a GT car.
We actually announced the coming of 600 LT slightly more than a year ago in the very first Summit video.
Yeah, that wasn't the first Summit video.
We canceled the Senna, and there's going to be 600 LT, and there we are.
Yep. And so here we are. We're getting it now. Oh, it's already here. I mean, it got delivered in November. Yep. So we got delivered in November, and the reality is that when it came out, I'd said I think that the 600 LT could be the best car that McLaren makes. The 675 was, until now, I still think that. The Senna is an amazing car. Nobody's going to argue that. people will question its looks, but I think the best all-around car still to date is the 675 that they've made. And this year we'll see if the 600 LT surpasses that. But the reality is what you have is a car that's obtainable. It's going to be a little bit more money than a GT3 RS. If you spec it lightly, it'll still surpass a GT3 RS. But in terms of exclusivity, looks, emotion, I think it's going to be a car that you will find that surpasses the GT3 RS in excitement. Maybe not motor sound still, because that's just something that the Porsche really has nailed right now. But I do believe it's going to be the most exciting car. What you're going to do is, a lot of people experienced our 720S last year and really enjoyed it. And what you're going to do now is you're taking a car that's lighter, all right? And you're taking a car that has less insulation, and it's more track focused. It's what this car is designed for. This car is designed for the track, so it means it's going to have stiffer bushings. It's going to, the suspension is stiffer. It's a little bit lower to the ground yet. It's just going to be that much better of a car, and I think it's really going to be a huge step forward for us. Yeah.
Now, another important comparison, recently Evo Magazine has announced the car of the year of 2018, and guess what was on the number one?
The 600 LT. And that doesn't surprise me at all. I mean, when we talk about it being maybe better than the 675 LT in all-around use and performance, it doesn't surprise me that the 600 is the car. Basically, you have, in that same category was the GT2 RS. In that same study was the Pista. So they're basically stating that they feel that the 600 LT was a better car than the Pista and the GT2 RS in terms of all around. Yes, they look at budget, they look at excitement, they look at performance. But when you take a car that weighs under 1,250 kilograms and you put a turbo motor with 600 horsepower in it, lighten the insulation, stiffen up the suspension, get more aero on it, it's going to be a fantastic car. And so it doesn't surprise me that it surpassed the GT2 RS. Because the GT2 RS is an amazing car, but it's difficult to drive fast. You know, if you look at the guys who are running them out on the Nürburgring, they're barely beating the times that they had with their GT3 RSs. Right? And the same thing goes for the Pista. I think the Pista is a beautiful car, an absolutely stunning car. I love it, but I really expect to get on the track and feel that it's going to be too sharp, too over, what would you say, over enthusiastic, if you want to go that far. It's going to be, you're going to give little inputs and it's going to be very sharp, like the Speciale was. You know, the Speciale spent more time with the ass swinging around. It was fun, but if you want to truly go for a fast, quick lap, I think that you're going to find that the 600 LT is going to be a blast. Well, excited. Just a reminder, make sure to book your laps, because they are actually getting sold out for certain days already. We have a couple of days that are already booked out, so let us know. Moving on to our other taxi, the M3. There is a lot to be said about that, but we recently made a video, so if you missed it, make sure to check it out. In the upper corner of this video, you can go directly and listen all we have to say about it so far. Go check that out, because right now we didn't give any visuals. We spoke about the car, we went through the car and what we're going to do, but the idea behind what it is going to truly be phenomenal. And whereas we've seen other cars with 4 bucket seats, people have attempted it, it never was right. And you can go online and Google, 4-seat limousine or 4-seat, whatever you want to look for, and you'll see some, and you just look at it and you think, how would you even get in there? It would be impossible to get in. It couldn't possibly be comfortable for the passenger,
or maybe even safe,
or even safe. Or there were bolt-in cages that didn't clear dashes, didn't clear parcel lids and things like that. So we're actually going to do it right, and we're going to get this car actually certified, the cage certified, so it truly we could race the car, obviously with only one driver, but we will actually be offering you a car that is certified as a race car, could race. And if you want to do RCN or find the class that you want to lose at in VLN, you know what I mean? Because of all the mods that are done to the car. But we're offering a true race car. So we're actually, now we have the M4, the VLN car. It ran in 2 N24 races, countless VLN races, and that's our backup taxi. That is a race car. The changes from our car right now to when it was a race car are so minimal. It was just little things to get to. If we took the carbon doors off and put normal doors back on for side impact protection. Just minor things that were changed to it. We have a true N24 race car as our backup taxi. Now we have our M3 that has buckets, 4 buckets, a roll cage, harnesses, etc. Also a true race car. And then we have the 600 LT, which is now the supercar of the year. from McLaren. So I think our fleet that we're offering is not just what works for us. What is it? It's now actually at a point where we have the best products that we can come up with to put out there.
Yeah.
So it's pretty exciting. I'm very happy with it.
Yeah, I'm also very excited. This is again a fleet. That's something that we would like to see if we wouldn't run a business, but would come as enthusiasts to the Nürburgring, like, holy shit, this is what I want.
Exactly.
I want to get in that car because it has everything that we actually want from a track car or a taxi car or etc. Now, a short note on the M4. Yes, it's going to be a replacement taxi instead. If we need to, like, for example, if the 630 needs to go for a service or like for any type of things, but people could potentially book it also.
Yes, absolutely. I mean, we have the ability as our replacement taxi. We have the ability to put it in if we need to. The McLaren needs to be serviced. The M3 needs to be serviced. So we do have service intervals that we have to do. So if somebody does want to take the M4, they should just inquire with us and see what our schedule's like, what their schedule's like. We can definitely put it in. That's no problem.
Yeah, it would be even better if you come with a big group because it.
Well, absolutely. I mean, obviously, then it makes it even easier. We could, do the during the busy season, for example. There's days that we have to take the McLaren out to do the services on it, and we don't have a choice.
Yeah.
So we would miss TF. So it would be great if people said, "Oh yeah, we've got a group of people that want to enjoy it," or something like that. We can put in the books, and we're going to pick days anyways where we advertise it and say, "Hey, this is an M4 day," and get that experience.
Yeah. Moving back to another car that you recently picked up, the Pista, there has been a lot of questions about the color and the spec. Could you maybe just go?
Yeah, so the color is Grigio Silverstone, which is actually a base Ferrari color. It's not a special color like Grigio Ferro or anything like that. And we actually spent a lot of time picking the color, and we had every single color laid out. And every time we would go back to it, the Grigio Silverstone had the perfect balance between the metallic light color and still a dark color in different lights. If you went with the darker colors, the car ended up looking too close to black. And so yeah, Grigio Ferro is the color, and I'm perfectly happy with it. I absolutely love it. Yeah, I absolutely love it. In my opinion, it's the best looking car that I have in terms of just modern, cool, clean lines, and I'm very, very happy with how the spec turned out.
Yeah.
I can't wait to get it on the track. I mean, I'm literally, it was minus 5 degrees the other day, and I got home from work and I took it for a drive. I'm like, okay, and it's covered in salt right now. So it's sitting at home covered in salt in the garage right now. Lars from Matwerk, the guy that does all the PPF work for us, every time he sees it, I drove it. He's like, Robert, you got to stop this. You got to get it to me and get the foil on it. I'm like, I just want to go drive it. So I'm definitely excited to get it on the track. I'm interested to see how it compares to the 488 and more so like to the 675 and everything like that.
Yeah.
The 675 is still the car to dethrone, in my opinion, in terms of track use, and it's going to be hard to do.
Yeah, well, excited for that. Moving on to one of our further business developments for this year, we have updated our website. Yeah. We have updated our pricing. So one of the most important things is in the past, we would have all-inclusive price for the cars, but some cars would require mandatory instruction. Right now, we just included the price is what you get is what you pay. And eventually, we ended up with actually lowering our prices for some cars if you compare it to last year.
It was important because a lot of people, look, if you want to take the M4 out, you need to have some experience. You need to know that you're going to be safe with it because it's our duty as a rental car company to make sure that you're safe.
Yeah.
We don't want to this is also a big part of, I'll segue a little bit, we'll go two ways with it, why we don't do online bookings. For our rental cars, for our taxis, you can book online. You can book, and then once the TF dates are solidified, you can actually pick the hour that you want, down to the 15-minute slot that you want, and you can book everything, and you get into our calendar. You don't even need to talk to us.
Yeah, by booking online, you mean you can actually click the button, order, it's set. For the rental car, you need to have a conversation with one of us so we can determine.
Exactly. So let's say immediate online booking with payment, we only do for the taxis, because that's something you can say, hey, I want the M3. I've got 3 friends. Let's just book it and be done with it.
Yes.
Right? We'll pick our time slot. We know when we're going to be there. But a rental car, if you come and say, oh, I want the M4, okay?
For 20 laps on the evening session.
Yeah, exactly. We want to talk with you. We want to know what's your experience, what's your skill level. Are you really ready to take the M4? Because we've had people that have booked the M4 and have said, I want it. We try and talk them out of it. We try and put them in a cheaper car that ultimately makes us less money. They go in the M4, they do 1 lap, they get out, they go get in the Volkswagen Up, and they're like, oh, this is awesome.
Yeah.
So obviously there's a group of people that are really more than capable of taking the M4, and we want to help get the proper custom experience and make sure that everything's set up in the way that you can. So yeah, the new website is we're really happy with it. It's a goal of making it as simple as possible. If you want to read a book, don't go to our website. Our website is very clearly details what we're offering. It details how it works, and that's it.
Yep.
We want it to be very simple. We want it to be that you don't go get lost in text that has nothing to do with what we're doing, nothing to do with our rental cars. But the big thing that we did is we did a really neat calendar.
Yes.
So Diana has spent a ton of time building all of these events and different things, and then Tom has put a ton of time putting it into the calendar. We were out here till 4 in the morning one night, 2 in the morning the next night, just getting everything ready and the way that we want it. But now we have an events calendar where you can actually go and click Ring Calendar, and 4 or 5 different calendars drop, and you can see all of the track days. So if you want to come to our calendar, you can plan your entire trips to Nürburgring. You know, if, oh gosh, I'm coming to the Nürburgring and it's the same weekend as Rock am Ring, what are the TF hours? You can see that on one calendar. Mm-hmm. If you're also coming and you want to see what track days are before and after the weekend that you're coming, it's on our calendar. So the days are gone of having to find this website where the track days are, this website where the TF calendar is, this website where big events are, and this event where the races are. Everything is on our calendar. Yeah. And you can sort it by big races, TF, track days, and even Apex events. Mm-hmm. Like we have our Car Freitag event, that'll be on there. We have the M Flight, which is a local BMW club, or actually it's a worldwide BMW club, but the local sector is going to be coming here for a tour and TF day and everything like that. All those things will be on our calendar, so you know exactly what's going on, not just at Apex, but around the Nürburgring. Yeah, I'm excited for that. It's going to make life easier of a lot of people who want to come over. There's also going to be a separate video which I'm going to make how you should prepare your Nürburgring trip if it's your first time, what should you do, what you should not do. So stay tuned for that. But I'll say one more thing. So you go online, you can book the taxis and your slot online. If you want a rental car, you write us because we want to talk to you and we want to help you get the right car. And then if you want to plan your trip, go to the calendar. Yeah. Speaking of the calendar, one of the important things that people can also plan to is checking out when VLN days are, because for me, it's one of the best, if not the best, all-round event, motorsport event in the whole world, because it's so accessible. You can get close to the cars. There's a huge variety of cars. I can go on for hours, and that's great. And that moves us to a next topic, that people have been asking us since the foundation of Apex. When are we going to race? I think this is the year. So Misha and I have been working out some details. We're not ready to announce exactly what yet, but I think possibly by next weekend, when we do the live summit, we might be able to give a little bit of insight as to what we're going to do. But the reality is it starts out with RCN. I think that seeing what we do, you know that we're not jumping in anything. There's no reason that we couldn't have in 2017 started with racing, but it was better to develop the company, work things out, refine stuff. Now we have the taxi program. The taxis are running very well. If you go with what Kathy's got going on in the taxi office, I said last year at the beginning, Kathy came in green and she was just on Car Freitag, like ready to go, run home and never come back, because she was overwhelmed with how much action it is. And now today she can do a 40 or 50 plus lap day and just be chill about it, so she can organize the customers and it's no problem. So it's all about developing everybody in the team. And so each department is developing and really kind of getting in their groove and getting in their niche. And now we're able to say, okay, let's take the Apex brand to the next step. And so now I think that we're going into the 3rd season, ready to do some racing. Again, not a huge investment. Go in, have some fun. Again, it's got to stay fun. Yeah. Go in and enjoy it and start out with some RCNs, and then who knows, we'll see. Maybe by the end of the year, do a couple of VLNs just to see how it goes. Yeah, that would be great. And again, this obviously everything will be covered through our videos, so we can show you that at some point maybe you can become our team member. Yeah, that'd be cool, yeah. That would be very awesome. Then next, speaking of events, something that I told already last year, that what we were missing from 2017, we spent a lot of time visiting events outside Nürburgring to approach the new target audience, to meet our fans and friends who would not be able to come to the Nürburgring because they're either too young or don't have the financial means or etc. So unfortunately we were not able to do it last year because there was so much time resources focused on taxi program, etc. But this year, next to racing, we want to again visit some of those events that were so great in 2017 or we couldn't make in 2017, and this is what we're going to do. So there are a couple of things that we are going to visit, and if you want to meet us, make sure to note them. Starting with this spring event, something that we very much enjoyed in 2017. That was a lot of fun actually. Yeah, we really enjoyed the spring event.
So there's going to, it's basically a gathering with a lot of supercars, sometimes hypercars, and just it's not too big, it's not too commercialized, so that's what I like about it. And the best part about it, what we did, we gave rides to less fortunate kids.
Exactly.
And you could see that they were just like smiling. So there was so much positive energy coming from them.
It's actually really cool. I mean, we took the LT Spider, the LT Coupe, and the 570.
570, yeah.
And we went down there and we would just pick up kids, and they had this little, I mean, I don't even say it wasn't even a quarter-mile drag strip. It was just a little 200 meter drag strip. And, you know, we would do launch controls with the kids in the passenger seat, and, you know, and you know, racing the Spider versus the LT or something in a little drag race was pretty neat. Yeah, and the kids just loved it. So it was really cool. So I'm definitely excited to do that.
Yeah. Do you know what type of car we're going to take?
I don't know yet. No, I haven't decided. I mean, it's tricky because there's so many different fun cars, and if you're doing like a drag race type of thing, well, then the McLarens are great.
Yeah.
You know, what day is it? Do you know when the spring event is?
I think it's 13th of April.
Okay.
It's some Saturday. I think on
Yeah, it's
April.
usually Saturday. So
yeah.
we have to look at what's the 600 LT doing.
Yeah.
You know, if the 600 LT has a full day of TF, then we would obviously need to leave.
I think it's a VLN day or RCN.
So if that's the case, then last year we were back in time for TF. So if it's a track close, then we take the 600 LT and showcase that a little bit, let people have fun with it. If not, then who knows? Maybe I'll drive the Pista up there, or maybe I'll drive the 675 LT. We just have to see.
Yeah, we'll see. Another type of event which is very similar to that is Supercar Sunday that I visited in 2015 and 16. 17 unfortunately not, 18 not. So very excited to visit that. It's very similar to spring event, but the only difference is there are like a couple of tens of thousands of people more coming to that event and a lot of more. So this is something very cool. Something different that we did in 17 was actually time attack. I think I even got like a second or a third place with GT 86. Yeah. So this is something I'm very excited to go because my roots from my car scene actually stem from time attack series. So very want to go to and...
what are you going to take up there?
Take up there. Yeah. So that's what we're going to do to show again that the Up is still a very capable car. And there are a lot of questions still daily from people who have been out of the loop with the vlogs. They ask like, what's up with the Up? Well, it's still there. It's now a rental car and you can rent it.
Where is it right now? Is it in the media office or is it at Tom's?
I think it's in the media office.
Okay, cool.
But I don't think Tom Schemmer could handle the awesomeness of it. Yesterday when we were filming the M3 video, I said, Tom, I have a great idea for YouTube series. Tom Schemmer reacts and just bring a type of cars to him and he could react to that. And if you think it's a good idea, just like let us know. We try to convince him. I mean, it took us only 2 years to convince him to allow us to film in the showroom. So maybe another 2 years so we can make a YouTube series. We're getting there. And the final event that is currently on our planning list is a track day organized by IVA Driebergen, which is a automotive business school in Netherlands that we went to in 2017 again. And 18 we wanted to go because it's taking place very early in the year. And because of that we couldn't, because actually it was snowing here. We didn't have any car on the winter tires, so it might happen the same this year if all of a sudden.
But hopefully not, so we can go and have a little bit of fun.
So this is somewhere we're gonna go. So if you are if you're a student of IVA Driebergen, make sure to join your student track day because we don't know what we're gonna take. Probably maybe GT86 or something along those lines. Moving on, another big part of our business all of a sudden as of last year is actually media part.
Right.
We can always say that media part was always our strong point within an important foundation within the company, a strong presence at social media, but this is something that we started as of last year offering to customers in terms of offering media shoots, so photo sessions, video sessions. And as of recently, I also mentioned in one of my previous videos, a picture by Tom Stamp was shared by Porsche themselves. So I think it says quite a lot about the work, the quality of the work the media department is delivering. And we want to expand it by actually offering maybe some type of workshops with the media team. And starting with in about 2 weeks, so on that next summit, which is going to be the live summit, we want to have a media summit together with Tom Stamp and Bruno. So actually ask us the questions that you would like to ask our media department about how to shoot, what type of equipment,
How much of a pain in the ass it is working with us.
Absolutely, yes. And eventually we're planning to host a workshop where they're going to teach you the basics and ins and outs about photography, followed by actual trial, how to actually implement those practices in real life. So we're probably going to have some moving cars driving down the street, one of our cars that you can photograph. We will see. The more details will follow.
I think that to get a general idea of it would be a concept where you can actually come, maybe stay 1 or 2 nights at Apex. There will be basically in the barn fundamental type of instruction, and then it will actually carry out to rolling shots. How do you get rolling shots? All the things that you need to think about. It's not just like today you just go out and do rolling shots. If you go out right now, we've got overcast, it's kind of wet, so you're taking different pictures than you would maybe in a fall afternoon where you're getting a nice orange glow at sunset. So talking about all the different things to think about when you're putting a photo shoot together. And then also I would love to see it also integrated when the track is open, so that maybe we do it on a weeknight, or even a time that the guys can take the students, if you would, out and actually go and take some pictures at TF. And actually do some learning on live subjects on the track, and show what is allowed at the Nürburgring. That's also a very important topic that the guys can discuss, is how can we just take people out and show them how to take pictures on the track? Well, you have to be very careful of that. The people that we photograph have to have consent. You have to give us consent, and you have to stay within. There's special safety openings and everything like that. So we don't actually do TF photography in that sense because of certain regulations as the Nürburgring has. But what we are able to do is go out and photograph our own cars, or if a customer gives us a job and we shoot their car and things like that. So we'll talk to the people about those ins and outs and what you can and can't do, but also show the technique and get them, taking pictures like Tom and Bruno.
Yeah, absolutely. Next part, also another important part of Apex, and a lot of questions regarding that, is apparel. How can you get it? Where can you get it? Before that, you had to send an email and ask like, hey, what do you have in stock? My size is this. Yep. And a lot of people said like, hey, you should build a web shop, which is the most obvious thing.
It's the most obvious thing, yeah.
Yeah, but we didn't have, again, the time resources to do that. And now we're getting close to it. So soon there will be a web shop on our website where you can just go.
Yeah, so we've already got it's already built into the web page. So the web shop is already there, ready to be turned on, but we're just putting in our information. Obviously for us, it was a big rush to get the cars updated, the pictures updated, the stats of the cars, getting the calendar put in, and the calendar's still not 100% done yet. So those are the main priorities. And then the apparel, I really hope that by the end of February that the apparel is completely live on the website and ready to go. That way we can start the season where you can book, get your Apex shirts, hoodies, etc. Misha's coming out with a line of shirts that I would love to see on the website as well. And, so just to get that, and then we actually want to start going into some design shirts as well, not just the standard Apex logo, but cool car related stuff, shirts that you would say, I need that, not just just an Apex shirt, that's a brand, but get an Apex shirt that actually has a little bit of a story behind it, or makes you look at it and kind of think about it a little bit. Yeah, absolutely excited for that. Now we're approaching the end of the Summit series, so there are just 2 more topics that I'd like to cover. First of all, is actually we're in the process of ordering the 718 GTS Cayman. Yes. Yep. Would you like to cover a bit more? Why have we picked the car? What's your opinion on that? Why have we not picked the GT4? It was actually a challenge. I mean, the guys basically everyone will be able to confirm that I sent links of GT4s that were for sale and said, oh, should I buy this? Should I buy this? Should I buy that? And whereas the GT4 is the cool, exciting shifter, manual shifter, et cetera. But at the end of the day, we go back to this thing that we said we want to have safe solutions for people that everybody can jump in and drive, but exciting solutions. No, there's no one's going to argue that a GT4 is not an exciting car. I mean, when I see them on the track, they're flying. They're just unbelievable. But we still then have that risk of somebody getting in, missing a shift, and blowing up a rather expensive engine. And then we're sitting here talking about that with them. It happened on our GT86. It was an affordable fix. We don't want to be talking about that on a Porsche, right? Then you say, okay, well, if you're not going to take a GT4, what about a GT3? What about a GT3 RS? Now we're getting into the same situation as we were with the McLaren. We're getting into a car that has a lot of power, that can easily be crashed. In fact, going back to this topic, if you think about it, in the last year, I saw a Renault AMG GTR crashed. I saw 2 Porsche GT3 RSs crashed, all rental cars. We want to keep you guys out of this, you know what I mean? We want to keep the enthusiasts having fun and coming to the Nürburgring for a good time. whenever our first crash that was really of any significance was the Polo, the original Polo that we had, that crashed. And we didn't have any fault. There was nothing that we could have done to prevent that other than really pushed for maybe a guide lap, which I think they took. And then afterwards, then crashed. I still felt bad for the guy. You know what I mean? I still felt really bad for them.
Actually, he didn't take it because he decided not to take it because his friend
was instructing. That's right. Yep. So at the end of the day, I felt bad for them. You know, and I was like, that's not the experience that we're wanting to deliver people. So we've come back to the 718 GTS as being a very fast car. You know, I mean, in all reality, in a straight line, probably faster than the GT4, right? So still a very fast, very capable car, the most modern tech out right now in terms of this class. So we're going with the 718 GTS. It's not over the top GT3, GT3 RS level, and it's not something that's really probably a similar speed around the track, but it's going to be a better solution for people to jump in and drive, less stress, and really enjoy driving the Nordschleife in. So that's my thought. There's many people who have said, my dream is to drive a Porsche on the Nordschleife.
Yeah.
You know, well, if that's your dream, now we've got an amazing solution. And yes, the car will get set up. It's not going to just be a base stock car. We'll talk more about that later, what we're going to do. But we will set the car up, and it will be set up, you know, in a more track-oriented way. The car we're getting has the sport bucket seats and things like that. But we'll do a little bit of work with suspension, maybe a wing and stuff like that. But we'll go into some detail.
Yeah, absolutely. And to finish today's episode, more actually, again, stepping outside Apex, but related to the Nürburgring, and a couple of interesting, one confirmed news and one is speculation and our thoughts about it. So starting with the Cayman today, actually the news is that the Bongard is not going to be official partner, exclusive partner of the Nürburgring. For people who have never been to the Nürburgring before, Bongard is the company that does all the recovery. And now it's going to be a company called Lens. We've seen that company doing all the evacuation of the cars that are illegally parked during the big events. And now they're going to be exclusive partner of the Nürburgring. There's a big difference between those two. Bongard is an officially ADAC related company. This means like a official car club of Germany, basically emergency recovery service. And this means if you have ADAC membership, the recovery would be for free if it's at the Nürburgring. Now, Lens, that's not the case. So you will have to pay even if you're a member of the ADAC. However, Nürburgring, and actually the news, they say that Lens going to charge less money than Bongard was doing, which was sometimes 400 euros per recovery.
Yeah, it definitely got up there. I mean, I'm sure there were recoveries that were much more when you look at the overall crash. The thing I think we have to understand is that the tow company doesn't only pick the car up, but they also do the cleanup.
Yes.
You know, or they might do some of the cleanup or spread some of the oil dry and things like that. And yeah, so obviously I would love to see the recovery costs come down. Yep. In big cases, big crashes where you basically have a garage sale, bumpers here, mirrors there, everything like that, the costs are going to have to be high. There's a ton of cleanup. But if my M4 runs out of fuel,
yeah,
I don't want to pay 300 euro to get my car off.
Yes.
You know, that's unfortunate, right? So in those cases, I think that the cost could be much more reasonable, and hopefully they will be. Yeah. To me, from my side, I don't really care who has an exclusive contract taking cars off the track, as long as it's done efficiently, quickly, and safely. As long as the drivers know how to drive with other fast traffic on, and I'm sure what's going to happen is you're going to see many of the same drivers just switch companies because they have that experience. There is something about driving a tow truck on the Nordschleife. If you've ridden with the tow truck drivers on the Nordschleife, you know that they have to have a certain set of skills and understanding about fast traffic, because at the end of the day, TF, some of the people just are idiots. I'm sorry. Yes. And they drive around those tow truck drivers unsafe. And so as long as the tow truck drivers are the same quality and the prices are reasonable, then to me, it doesn't make a huge difference. It is interesting from a nostalgia point of view to see Bongard leaving, because that's what we know. But that's business at the end of the day. You know what I mean? That is business. Yeah,
we'll see how that's going to affect the whole Nürburgring scene. And finally, which is the big rumor, is that Nürburgring might stay open throughout the whole year. This is not something like all out of the blue, because this was the case actually in the previous years, like 10 years ago and then less than that. Because if the weather permits, why not? And if I look outside now, it would be okay to drive with a Polo or something.
5 degrees and raining. I'll drive it.
Yeah,
that sounds like June to me.
Yeah, absolutely.
No, I mean, honestly, I right now in this weather, it's about 5 degrees and raining. There's no ice because it's been above freezing for over 24 hours. I'd be out there lapping right now. We wouldn't be doing the summit.
That's true.
Now, the Nürburgring makes no money off of me, though. You have a season pass and you're out driving. Indicators, positive, negative. You don't know exactly what they're doing. When you hear about the fact that the Nürburgring may be talking a little bit on the backside about opening it up, you hear the rumors all around, you start to think, okay, well, what signs have we seen? The season pass went up a decent amount, actually.
300 euros.
That's more than
10%.
10%. That's like 15%, right? So you have a pretty big increase in price on the lap, and you think, okay, if the lap ticket went up, are they thinking about leaving it open longer? But what does it do for us for business? For us, we're expecting to start the second week of March, full speed, right? And we have always known that somewhere around Misha's birthday, we get to relax a little bit. Well, what happens if the Nürburgring is open through Christmas? What happens if it's open in January? What happens if we're sitting waiting to see if the Nürburgring is open tomorrow? You know, well, I can tell you for our taxis, I don't think it'll be a big problem. I will not staff the taxi office in December, January, February, but we will have staff at Apex. And if you want a taxi lap, you come to Apex. And I guarantee you that Tim will probably be hanging around somewhere itching to do a lap, you know what I mean? And he would be happy to take you out. So I think what we would do is we'll offer a scaled back type of service where all of our rental cars are here, our mechanic is here, everyone's ready and keeping things ready to go, but we're not in this full attack mode where we've got 5 people staffing the taxi office, 10 people at Apex, but we are ready to go with any car you want and any taxi you want at any given time.
Yep. But again, time will show. We'll have to wait and see.
Yeah, absolutely.
For that, as always, stay tuned, subscribe, like, share if you're new to this channel. And let us know in the comments any other questions for upcoming summit, or actually, just remember them because it's going to be a live summit. A reminder, 2 o'clock +1 GMT time here in Germany next Sunday.
Think of some good questions. If we're going to do a live session and you guys throw up some questions, we'll try and answer anything that's appropriate for the air anyways, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And for now, let us know what you want to ask the media team for the media team summit, and any other type of message is always welcome. Thanks for tuning in, and see you next week at the live summit. Bye-bye.
Bye, guys.